I thought then, but I was young, and I will tell you this today, he's the greatest prospect I ever saw at any position. So I picked him.
Baltimore selects as the first choice in the draft, quarterback John Elway of Stanford.
They left town and they traded him in 6 days. And I end up in Cleveland and he keeps us out of 3 Super Bowls. So he affected not only my career very much, but the whole balance of power in the National Football League, particularly in the AFC.
He had everything. He had the brains. He had great feet. He could improvise. He could make any throw, and I mean any throw.
Elway scrambles away, passes on the move, touchdown!
Rolling to his right, throwing back across the field 70 yards. I'm not sure that you can simulate that on a Wednesday, Thursday practice.
Time after time after time, he does it.
If he gets the ball back, the game's over. And we're gonna lose in the last 2 minutes of this stupid game. And you would start the cycle, you know, at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Elway's got the ball to the end zone. Touchdown!
Oh, God.
And he has just bitten the cheeks again.
We could take away whoever they wanted to have out there. It's not like they were gonna blow us away with great talent anywhere else except for one spot. We're playing the Denver Elways. That's what it was.
I think Steinberg was definitely a pioneer in the business. He created the super agent.
When I started in 1975, the teams would simply hang up the phone and say, "We don't deal with agents." Players got drafted and they were tethered to that team with virtually no negotiating ability. That gave birth to modern agentry.
He's going to receive an enormous contract wherever he goes.
So Cameron Crowe, the film director and writer, called me up in 1993 and said he wanted to do a film that was focused on a sports agent and asked if he could sort of shadow me. I haven't been through an airport or out to dinner very many times where someone didn't run up and say, "Show me the money."
The tight end position is so much more recognized today than it was back then. No one knew what the heck it was, really. I mean, it was kind of a new position.
I caught 12 passes my senior year in college. 12. I caught 58 my first year in pro ball and 12 touchdowns.
He passes to Mike Ditka. The Chicago rookie goes in for the touchdown.
Tight end, he lines up about 1 yard from the offensive tackle because we had a block down, angle block, we called it angle block, and I couldn't get off the line of scrimmage. And Coach Howell said, open up a little bit. He said, take about 1.5 yards, 2 yards, split from the tackle. And it made all the difference in the world. I was getting free releases, now it was between me and the safety. I won a lot of those contests.
Mike slips behind the Colt defender and bags Wade's pitch for an apparent touchdown.
And then they split them open more and more.
Gronkowski is split to the right. They flex it to the outside.
These guys, I mean, they're so much better physically. It's crazy. These guys are 6'5", 6'6", 265, 270, and they run a 4.9. Come on. They're so much bigger, faster, stronger, period. And I watch them all. I mean, it's fun to watch them.
If you have a list of the game changers in NFL history, you must have Joe Carr on that list, probably up there near the top.
Football will develop healthy, rugged bodies and clean, active minds.
Joe Carr set the building blocks for the league for the next 100 years. He wrote the Constitution and bylaws. He did the standard player contract. He split the league into 2 divisions and created the NFL championship game. Moving the game from the small towns to the big city makes him the father of pro football.
So many games are played during the day and very few are played at night. When it's a night game, the fans all know that this must be a big game.
I lived in Washington, D.C. Sammy BAUGH fan. Later on, when I came into the league, everybody I talked to, Sammy BAUGH was the greatest quarterback ever to live.
Slingin' Sammy Baugh, voted the greatest living quarterback of all time by the Associated Press poll.
He could throw the ball from any position. I mean, he could throw it sidearm. He had all kind of different arm ankles that would drive the purists crazy. Everybody said the greatest quarterback of that time was Sammy Baugh.
The 1984 National Football League Collegiate Player Draft is underway.
Executive producer Bill Fitz came upon this book that Mel Kiper would publish. It was a really detailed scouting report on like every draft-eligible player. Of all the things that ESPN has done on the draft, the biggest thing they ever did was get Mel Kiper.
That's why the Colts are the laughingstock of the league year in and year out.
Nobody defined the NFL draft like Mel Kiper.
He made it the industry that it is today. Not just his knowledge, but which is encyclopedic, by the way, but his hair. Come on, we can't get around the hair.
What were you thinking?
I wasn't.
The Dallas Cowboys. They were called America's team, and he was Captain America.
From as far back as I can remember, I wanted to be Roger Staubach. I was going to run around and make a last-second throw, just like he had done.
Staubach looks like he might take off. Got away from one, got away twice.
Roger, you are something else.
He was running around and making plays with his legs long before anyone else was doing it. But I think what makes him a game changer is his integrity and his character. His way of inspiring his team.
42 seconds left in the game. Redskins lead by 6. Can Staubach do it again? Staubach throwing in the end zone. Cody Hill, touchdown!
I still have a tremendous amount of respect for what he did and what he stands for and paving the way for me.
He had the great name, Jimmy the Greek. The head of CBS Sports at the time, Bob Wessler, decided that the NFL today needed to add a prominent oddsmaker. He was the biggest name associated with the sports gambling industry.
It's amazing when you think about it, because the NFL has been paranoid about gambling forever.
We had the meeting, and Commissioner Rozelle listened, and then he said, I have one request. Will you please not use point spreads?
Miami over Houston in the slightly favored category.
If the Rams were favored by 6 points, he wouldn't say, I like the Rams to cover. He would say, I like the Rams to win 38-28. And those were code words.
But if Tarkenton isn't at least a 3-point better quarterback than a Norm Snead or a Randy Johnson, I'm not Jimmy the Greek.
But he was a natural.
The Greeks got the big check under the Falcons.
Jimmy SNYDER might not have cut it, but Jimmy the Greek, that was it.
Joe GIBBS has emerged as one of the most innovative offensive head coaches in the National Football League.
Joe GIBBS was an innovator. Our offense was dynamic and explosive.
Touchdown, Washington Redskins!
It was creative and inventive. We really took the two tight end offense to another level.
What he did was take out one running back and insert a second tight end.
Just redefine the way you play offense. That's, that two tight end, one back offense. Joe GIBBS put that in to block Lawrence Taylor.
The H-back was really an additional tight end.
Walker again moves in motion.
Became a very versatile individual in our offense.
Hey, win with style, man. Win with style.
Whatever it took to win, he could adjust his personnel to do it. He sophisticated that phase of offensive football.
One of our best runs is a counter gap where we block down on the strong side, and this is a devastating play for the defense.
Here's the old counter trade. The guard and the tackle from this side both pull and lead over here.
You still see signs of that running game in some offenses. The lineman pulling, he's the guy that made it popular.
From 1982 to 1991, Joe GIBBS won 10 or more games in 8 of 9 seasons. He won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks.
Proud of you, man. Proud of you.
Not a flashy guy. He never gave great quotes at the press conference or anything like that. All he did was win.